President Ramaphosa is now making his initial remarks as he prepares for this bilateral relations meeting with his counterpart in China, Xi Jinping. Let's listen in.
A golden era of cooperation. South Africa is pleased, as you have proposed, to upgrade our comprehensive strategic partnership to an all-round strategic cooperative partnership in the new era. This, for us, is most pleasing. This is pleasing because it will elevate our mutual beneficial political and economic ties for the benefit of both our countries and our peoples. South Africa has entered a new period in our 30 years of democracy. The newly formed Government of National Unity continues to place the achievement of the African Union's Agenda 2063 and the pursuit of a better Africa and a better world at the center of our foreign policy. As our history demands, South Africa will continue to pursue progressive internationalism. We remain committed to the One China policy. Our two countries share many common objectives. Building on the firm foundation of solidarity, we continue to provide support in promoting our interests, those of the African continent and the global South. I'm confident that we will have the opportunity to openly exchange views on many issues regarding our political, economic, and technical cooperation as outlined in the 10-year strategic program of cooperation. I'm also confident, Your Excellency, that we will find common ground on key regional issues and other global challenges. I'm also confident that these shared sentiments will be expressed in our joint declaration. We have witnessed an increase in our bilateral trade. However, South Africa, we would like to, in a way, address the issue of the trade deficit and address the structure of our trade. We were encouraged by the inward procurement mission of Chinese companies last year when they visited South Africa. We urge for more sustainable manufacturing and job-creating investments. Development cooperation between our two countries continues to grow, covering many areas. We welcome the progress made in several FOCAC-related projects. Last year, South Africa hosted the 10th BRICS Summit, and we really appreciated China's support for the positive outcomes that were achieved then. So South Africa will continue to support China in delivering a successful FOCAC Summit. So thank you very much for welcoming us here, and our friendship continues as it has continued.
All right, apologies for that. It seems, of course, somebody got into our view there as we're listening into the president. Nonetheless, we could still hear the president very clearly, and so I thought it was still worth listening in to his initial remarks as they prepared for that very important bilateral meeting before the multilateral engagement unfolds in the form of the Forum on China-Africa Cooperation Summit. The president there kicking things off by mentioning the fact that our democracy has entered a new era in the form of the Government of National Unity. I find it interesting that he mentions that even under the GNU, they still remained very focused on their foreign policy in the pursuit of things like world peace. This is a very important statement because part of the questions we've been asking here at home, of course, is how foreign policy in South Africa is going to be affected by this multi-party involvement in the government. a classic example, of course, is that we know that the DA, in their rhetoric over the years, has always had choice words for the ANC-led government, especially when it came up to South Africa's cozying up to the likes of China and Russia, as opposed to the West. And what is fascinating, even at the moment, is that the DA's leader, John Steenhuisen, is part of this delegation representing South Africa Inc., if you like, as he, of course, is part of the cabinet as the agriculture minister. So it's going to be interesting to see how they negotiate what initially seemed like, contradictory policy stances in a context where they need to be singing from the same hymn book whilst they're there in China. The president also saying that China and South Africa still share many objectives. He's urging for more sustainable investment to see through some of their collaborative efforts. And that statement is also worth noting because part of what we're hearing in the commentariat is that a lot of these African countries who are going to be part of the summit that unfolds from Wednesday, part of what they'll be raising is the incomplete projects from the last sitting back in 2021, where they say billions of rands worth of projects are now standing idle, including railway infrastructure, we're told, which is yet to be completed. As soon as we're able, of course, to perhaps take you back to the Great Hall, if there's anything else being said by the president or our ministers here at home, we'll certainly do that. But